Alright, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about what seems to be a major bug affecting quite a few characters in the game. And I don't know for 100% certainty if this bug is just a visual bug that resolves itself when characters are in live combat, or if it's actually a lot more than that and these characters are missing out on a major buff. And what I'm talking about is this tagline right here. So for example, on Thanos, he has Hero Slayer, passive, level 1, applies to self, super armor, increases all basic defenses by 50%. Now this is supposed to be here passively all the time, meaning if he's getting 50% defense, if I take this uniform away from him and equip him with a uniform like Wise Harvester, for example, that does not have that 50% defense, as you can see right here from the passive, and if you check on his tier 2, it's also not there, and if you go ahead and check on his uniform bonus, it is not there either. So basically the stat line should change. His defense, both energy and physical, should go down by about 50%. But if you look right here, my defenses stayed the same. So that to me is problematic. That to me means that either this 50% buff that he's getting from his uniform is not being applied, or it's just applied when he's in actual combat, which I don't think that's the case, because for other abilities that say apply to self, they're there all the time. Like let's say for example, if your uniform bonus gives you like ignore dodge, right? That ignore dodge will show up in your details page. And I'll go for example for somebody who's fresh on my mind, like Ares, right? Ares has a uniform, and on his uniform bonus right here it says ignore targets dodge by 30%. If I go to his stat page, you can see he has 33% ignore dodge. That's because I get 3% from my cards, right? The same thing should be the case for his stats. If I go to somebody like Kamala Khan, for example, she has a uniform that like gives her 50% attack. I go over here and I'll show you right here. This one, as you can see, 50% all attack from her uniform bonus. If I look at her stats, it's at 66% or 66,000 physical attack. If I go over here and I equip this, you're gonna notice that her attack goes up by about 11,000. So from 66 to 77, right? So that means that what you do by equipping the uniforms, if it says applies to self, it should be there and reflected even when you're outside of combat. Now these examples are just examples of uniform bonuses, so you guys might look at this and say, okay, maybe the passive stuff doesn't get applied the same way as uniform bonuses. But to me, uniform bonuses are passive effects. So let's say, for example, we throw Thanos out, and Thanos is a one-off situation. Okay, let's go to uniform bonuses that give you a similar effect to what we get from Thanos. For example, with Thanos here, or rather with Punisher, similar to Thanos, as you can see for Punisher, he has 20% all basic defenses with that super armor tagline. I think something is wrong with that. Either it doesn't apply outside of combat, or you're just not getting that 20% all defense. Because if I just take this uniform away from Punisher and go back to one of his older uniforms that does not have the 20% extra defense anywhere, you'll notice that his stats stay the same, his defensive stats. And I made sure that the uniforms are rolled very similar in terms of they have all basic defense on the uniform options, right? So like if I just go back to this uniform right here and I just double check, this one doesn't give Punisher any all defense. Just look, right? This one right here, first stat line, super armor, increase all basic defense, right? 20%. This one does not. So if I just go back over here and I take a look at Punisher stats, you see it's 21,000 physical defense, 16,000 energy defense. Then if I go to this one, it's the same. right? Or slightly higher, and it's only slightly higher for the energy defense or the physical and energy defense, just because the uniform option here, as you can see, all basic defense is 539, and this one is a little bit lower at 536, right? But that's not a 20% increase. And there's multiple examples of this that I've found by just going through my roster. I checked quite a few characters and I found this to be the case from their uniform bonus. Like, for example, Emma Frost has the same thing, right? If I go back, this uniform, I made sure the uniform options, all defenses rolled here. This one, all defenses rolled here. Very, very similar, but one's at 532, one's at 534. So this uniform should have a significant drop off in the defenses comparatively to the new one, right? Okay, so we go here. What do we see? 2731. Now, if I go to this one, which has the 20% increase, 2731, right? And go ahead and look at somebody like Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer gets 40%, right? 40% from this uniform. He gets none from this uniform. So there should be a big difference between none and 40, right? Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Silver Surfer stats. 33, 38 for the energy and physical defense, right? We go here, 33 and 38. Nothing has changed. Why? That seems to me that there's a problem, okay? So either that super armor effect that gives you the defense only activates when something in combat triggers it, which at that point, it's impossible to see or know or tell, right? Unless there's a pop-up that says super armor activated, extra defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, something is wrong here. And it makes me wonder, are you just not getting that effect? It's harder to check on characters like Mephisto because there's no prior uniforms. You'd have to do a little bit of math. And the reason why I say that is if you take a look at Mephisto, right, since he has no previous uniform, this one gives him 50%, and 50 it's a big number. That's a lot of defense, right? If we just compare that to what we saw with Kamala Khan going from 66 to 77, right? And if we just cut that in half, that's about 5K. But keep in mind that just the uniform itself, when you level it up and get it to Mythic, it gives you 40% all basic defense. So 40 plus 40, we should see an 80% increase in defense when we equip the uniform as opposed to no uniform, right? Because it's 40 from the green stat, right? The 40% from the all basic defense and all basic attack from just owning the uniform and getting it to Mythic. And then the uniform bonus, well, actually it's 90. I was thinking of Silver Surfer is 40. It's 90% because it's 40 plus the 50 from here, right? So if you just do some math, did we see a 90% increase in physical defense and energy defense from Mephisto? And Null has the same thing, right? Null's uniform gives him he has the same thing too. Like, so something is going on. Something's awry, and maybe it's something that I'm missing. So I'm bringing this to y'all's attention to let me know what it is and why we're not seeing characters who have this specific line that gives them super armor and all basic defense reflected passively outside of combat. Because if we go to Ghost Rider's Rage Return uniform, this one does not have 40% defense from that tagline. And we take a look, it's 2731. We go to Savage Avengers, which does have the 40%. You're going to notice the stats are exactly the same in terms of the defenses. 2731 with 40%, 2731 without. There's no difference. So are we getting robbed? You know what I'm saying? Are we being bamboozled? Are we being hoodwinked? Like, let me know. Because when we have taglines, like for example, on the Thing, this is important. This is the difference. And this makes me feel like something is indeed truly wrong. When we take a look at the Thing, this uniform gives him 35% all attack, 20% defense, and 3% all speed. And if I take this uniform off, like look at the Thing's stats, look at his defensive stats, right? 24, 22. And if I go back to one of the uniforms that does not have this specific tagline, right? So I think this one also gave him a little bit. This one I gave him some, but this one did not. So we're going from the newest uniform for him that gave him 35, 20, and 3 to this one that gives him nothing. Now let's go ahead. I'm gonna show you guys that his stats here actually changed. You see what I'm saying? Now we're down to 2018. 20,000 physical defense, 18,000 energy defense. And if we go back to this one, you'll notice now it's 24, 22. So when there's all attack, all defense, and speed, it's reflected here on the stat page. But when it's just super armor and all defense, it's not reflected here. And I need to know why. Does that mean it's actually not being applied? Is it actually a bug? Or does the does the benefit of the defense only come into play when you get guard broken, or was supposed to be guard broken, but because you have the super armor, then you trigger the extra defense? Like, is there something else that has to happen for you to get that defense? And if that's the case, then fine, but it just seems a little weird. And the thing is not the only character that has that. Like, for example, just a couple, right? For example, with Spider-Gwen here, she has the same thing: 40% all attack, 20% defense, 5% speed. If we jump back to, I believe, this uniform, this one was giving it like this one was giving it when you activated a skill, right? When dodging. So this one doesn't show up, right? So we just go here and then you look at this one, boom, 1816. If we go to this one, boom, 2118, right? I'm confused. Why is it that some characters' defenses, well, I know why it's being shown and why it's not. Right. One of them is when the attack and the defense is lumped together, right? Like, for example, in the case of Spider-Gwen and Thing, then the defense and the attack is reflected here on this page. But when super armor and all defense is put together, for some reason, the defense that you gain is not reflected here.